I'm happy to welcome Deniz and Markus here. They will join me in discussing about color. And while we have more people coming in, of course, there is a clear reason why the Ukrainian flag is behind me, because we are at the same time living in a terrible, biased and terrible, strange world, where on one hand we are talking about color and we are talking about business, and at the same time knowing that in very close areas of Germany, we have people fighting for their lives. So it's a kind of strange world that we live in, and it just underlines that unpredictability increases. We have less and less situations that we can actually control completely. So what I always talk about is that we have to be flexible, and we have to be adaptive to what's going on in this world, no matter if it is in politics, if it is in safety. And I guess this is a wake-up call for everyone with regard to safety and thinking about freedom of speech and freedom of doing business. And we have to somehow get used to this new reality of dealing with all that at the same time, which is kind of strange for people to do, but it is something that we have to do. So with this being said, I mean, I will switch from this terrible statement right now of politics into our business. And when later this is displayed on YouTube, and I hope that people in, I don't know, 1 year can see this video on YouTube, and they will remember this time as being having been a short time of terror and war, and they can concentrate on what's coming now in the next minutes, which is everything about color. So I'm switching now the topic and talk about business, as hard as it is. We are in a world of digitization. We are in a world where lots and lots of physical activities and actions get a digital twin, no matter if it is about an event, if it is about a process flow, if it is about a physical asset, even if it is a digital asset that gets in digital information, no matter where. We talk about NFTs. Everyone talks about a digital expression of an asset, of a value. We talk about blockchain for years, and we talk about the complexity of actually creating digital twins of physical beings and physical things like products, like processes, people, data, information. And one thing for certain is in this line, and that is color. I know this for like decades, that in the apparel industry, color is a very important statement from the point of creativity, and color is a very important statement from the point of quality. And no matter where we are in this kind of development chain, we always think that we discuss about the same. We talk about a red, we talk about a green, we talk about a yellow and blue and black and whatsoever. Yet when we look deeper into this color, we understand that it's actually not the same, you know. And there were lots and lots of attempts in the past and also today to guarantee color, so that the one who has invented or developed something, like a designer, actually creates something that during the process of product development, prototyping, mass production, delivery to the customer, is at the end looking as the design looked in the beginning, in terms of the manufacturing, but also in terms of the material, raw material, and in terms of the color. Now, we have done a lot in this in the recent years. We started with physical copies. We did really real samples, and we would send them all around the world to make sure that it is actually looking as it was supposed to be. Then of course, color palettes and numbering started, and we saw of course the rise of Pantone, for example. We started to talk about colors, but then still a yellow with a definitely like a Pantone color in leather looks different like in linen or in cotton or in something else. So somehow shades and making things run along the supply chain when it comes to color is not an easy thing. And with the advent of the digital twin concept, it is not a surprise that also color is now in the focus of safeguarding this along the supply chain with a digital information. And that is what we are going to talk about with these two experts here, Markus Kaiser and Deniz Thiede. And they will run us through the way of turning something that is emotional, like a color, into something that is very predictable, like a number, like a metadata, like an digital information that I can transport wherever I want. We all know that when something becomes digital, it is multipliable and on scale, and we can work with this on scale no matter where we are in this world. So welcome once again, Markus and Deniz, and the stage is yours. I would love to have you explain us a little bit about color.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joachim, for the introduction and for having us here. We are happy to contribute to this topic. Maybe we give a short history how that started. The background of our company is that we develop IT solutions. With the background of coming from operational activities, we have developed our IT solutions, or started to develop our IT solutions in the mid-90s with a strong focus on quality management. In 2017, Markus and I met each other. Markus saw what we are into, that we are very much into quality management, and he liked the way how we are doing the user friendliness, how we are programming the systems. And he said, actually, that what is missing in this is the color. To have a system which enables you to look on color also through the quality management perspective. And on top of it, we have, Markus is sharing similar values and a similar DNA. So we like to develop solutions which are not developed by engineers for engineers. We love to develop solutions which are developed by users for users, so that we can generate a good use case and also have users which love to work with our systems because it is self-explanatory. So on this journey, when we started this journey, Markus was the key person for us to develop the product together with our colleague Karl, who has programmed also the color engine. We have moved into this, into the development, and since September 21, we have launched our product and have a very good feedback from the market. So that what we hear is it's a game changer. But before I get into this, I would like to, you are lucky because since yesterday we have our product explainer video, which is explaining actually the use case in a wonderful way. It's within 2 minutes. It might be a good intro to start with that topic. I would like to share my screen and give you the insight into our solution. So I share my screen, just a moment. And here we go. So,
yes.
Is the screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Perfect. Then, please.
Color is one of the most important factors of any lifestyle product. The main goal is to transfer a target color into the desired material as accurately as possible. Since product designers and fabric suppliers are most often located in different parts of the world, physical samples must be dispatched for in-person assessment quite frequently. This process results in subjective comments on rejected samples that don't really support factories to deliver the desired results. There is a way to solve these problems: ColordesQ, the holistic solution for color management and color quality control. Say hello to the single platform for communication with all suppliers. which guarantees seamless transparency at all stages of the process. Lab dips, shipping samples, and dye lots are digitally transferred while controlling potential metamerism issues. Based on spectral data, ColordesQ provides objective comparison of colors under any light source. Especially in the case of multiple materials being produced in a single target color, ColordesQ can truly make a difference. All results are compared across suppliers without sending out physical swatches, leading to decisions that are based on accurate data accessible to all stakeholders in real time. In short, no more misunderstandings, no more complaints. A dashboard will keep everyone updated at any time, while analysis features help to understand and improve vendor performance and color accuracy. ColordesQ is a game changer when it comes to quality, speed, costs, planning, and sustainability. Want to learn more? Contact us for a free trial version now.
Wow, Deniz. So you saved the industry, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, this is what we try. It is. I hope this explains it within a nutshell. Let's say, what is it about and what we are into. We have prepared some slides to also give you a further detailed look into it. So I'm sharing now my screen here to continue. So it is actually like many other journeys. When we started this journey with Markus, it was also for us very interesting to hear how big the pain point is actually in the operational side. So we had a think tank in Hong Kong. It was in 2018. We wanted to get a market research, and actually the feedback that we get from the audience is we need it yesterday, so as soon as possible. So now the result looks like following. Then can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So the question which we have is, how fast can actually color travel? And also in this journey of digitization, color plays a very essential role. And we want to show you how we manage this with regards to the system, how this can be done. So as a first overview about also to give some clarity with regards to some terminologies. So the color evaluation that we do is based on objective spectral measures. What is the only option also to provide accurate data? This is also one of our core principles. The accuracy part needs to be covered in the system with reliable formats and with reliable data. Then, of course, it's a web-based cloud application, so there is no software requested. What enables also all stakeholders to be updated and to have a complete picture. It has been especially developed for the textile and apparel industry, also for trims, footwear, and accessories and more. You could put it also in other directions. At the moment, we have some interested media agencies which are into printed catalogs and also online shops. So it is interesting what other industries are also interested in the solution. And the importance here is that we can compare standards with the color developments, and in a way that it is also flexible to show it also in a multiple light, under multiple light sources. So the deviations, we can simulate the light sources on the screen dependent on the standard that the customer needs, or also on the shop light, for example, that the customer has. This can be simulated on the screen as well. And the system.
Sorry to interrupt you. When you say this can be on the screen, on any screen, or like calibrated screen, or which kind of screen?
Very good point. It is helpful to have a calibrated screen, but it is not a must. It can be a calibrated screen, but we have a drift indicator which can visualize this in a very nice way. But you will see this also in the coming slides, how we do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not a must, but it is helpful to have a calibrated screen.
Yeah.
So then also the big advantage is that we have one platform where all stakeholders can communicate and also be updated about the color statuses. So it is also replacing emails and other channels of communication. It is the bundled platform which enables everyone to have the same update.
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming to the part of the integration of the color systems. So it is ColordesQ is able to, that we can upload multiple color systems. Just to mention a few that you see, I mean, Pantone is the most common one, but it is possible also to upload other systems. And of course, we can also upload the brand's custom color library. With that regard, the system, we are flexible to upload whatever kind of color library the customer wants us to upload. And also, since we don't see our position in a way that we recommend the hardware, or let's say have a specific hardware that we recommend, we think as a software company, we need to be flexible and adopt the system according to the customer preference with regards to spectrophotometers, for example. Here are a few as an example that we can connect with the system, and also other spectrophotometers if the customer wishes. Of course, the market leader is Datacolor, but there are also other devices on the market like Cadon or from Konica Minolta. We can guarantee that the data can be loaded also on the system and used. No matter which.
And when we talk about these technology, this is available everywhere, right? Like a manufacturer in Pakistan or in Bangladesh, Myanmar, or in Ethiopia has access to this.
Absolutely. And it is also on our journey here, also when we had contact with customers, it was very surprising. Customers thought the vendor doesn't have a spectrophotometer, but when they asked which spectrophotometer they use, we are receiving often the answer they already have one. And that is quite interesting because sometimes the brands are even don't have the update from the vendor because it's used internally, but it can be easily then used also with our system.
Okay, cool.
And then what does this mean actually, this process? How does it work? We all know there are the lab dips when the vendor starts with the dyeing process. He has the lab dips A, B, C in different variations. In our case, these lab dips need to be scanned with a spectrophotometer, and this will deliver us the spectral files. We are uploading the spectral files in our real-time color engine, and the engine is enabling us to see it in a spectral curve, the specific color. Then we generate the LAB and delta values, and we can visualize this in a calculated format where it is easily visible. In the center, you have the target color, and around the center, we visualize the lab dips, and you can see how far the result is away from the target. So it is visible in a diagram, and it is visible also as numeric numbers, which give us also a good possibility to specify the deviation. Whereas in the past, when we were holding the lab dips in hand, we said the feedbacks were sometimes it's a bit too greenish or make it more bluish, but it is not a specific direction. And this is what we receive here. We get a real number and we can see and visualize how far result is away from the target. Now,
Deniz, you know that I'm really fanatic about technology, but at the same time, I'm fanatic about easiness, user friendliness. How easy is this to use? Is it, do I have to study 3 years to actually be able to work with this data? Or how you know, I mean, how do you train people on that? How do people work with this?
So the dynamics,
zeros.
exactly. This is a general pain point in the software industry and also in this digitization process. A core principle of all our software solutions is really to have a high user friendliness. We want to make it as convenient as we are working with our smartphone. There are different applications where we intuitively use and where we are guided intuitively through the software. And this is also that what we have followed at ColordesQ. It should be something where actually the adoption of the user is very easy. And on top of that, this is also the feedback that we get. If people are starting to work with it, they say, hey, it's excellent. It is, I'm actually leaded through the software. And it is a very convenient way to get used to it. And this is also, we think the users don't need to adopt themselves to the system. The system needs to adopt itself to the user preferences. And this is also something what we mentioned, customization. So we at Triple Tree take the customization process very serious, that the system comes as close to the customer process and workflow as possible, that the usage is there and the motivation also to work with it is high.
So easy to use.
Exactly. So here a short comparison between using, let's say, the conventional way compared to the ColordesQ process. It is a big advantage, for example, with regards to that we don't need to dispatch the lab dips. So the lab dips will be uploaded into the system. Even in the first color cycle, it is an advantage of 24 hours where you can reply versus 7 days until the courier has reached the brand and until the color lab dips are lying on the table of the decision maker. And this is also growing further if you go into the second or even third cycle. And we all know how much it is stressing if a color is not matched, and how it can affect also the lead time. And with regards to that, ColordesQ is speeding up this process in a very good way. And top of it, it is also giving, beside the time advantage, of course, it is also a lot of courier costs can be saved because it is speeding up the process in a very, very easy way.
Okay.
Here, just a feeler for it with regards to the system. It is, we are also providing performance analytics. So you can also see how long did the vendor took to develop the color. How long did it took inside the brand organization to confirm a color or to comment a color? So in the past, it was always vendor said, customer hasn't made the decision fast enough. The customer says the vendor hasn't sent the lab dips in time. Now, this is a part of history. We can see it, who has dispatched what and when, which step has been taken in an excellent way. And also, for example, if you look on this right screen, you can see the drift indicator, especially for programs in the license range. For example, like this sports license products where colors need to really match. You can even compare it over different vendors, the same color over different vendors, which enables also to have a very good coordination right from the beginning and avoid any surprises later on when the merchandise is in the store and you will see, oh, the color is not matching. This way you can control it in a very convenient way. This was...
I cannot hide anymore. There's no way that I can hide. I cannot talk about misunderstandings. I cannot talk about, oh no, I didn't get the email. Oh, you really, this is really not easy, huh?
Exactly, and this was also our plan here, to give this transparency into the supply chain with regards to color under the same principles like we are developing our tools, that you provide a high level of accurate data, and also in a way that each stakeholder can look into it. And also a very big advantage in our case is, if a vendor, for example, was dispatching the lab dip, he didn't knew in advance, he didn't had a counter check before dispatching the lab dips. In this case, the vendor has the possibility to review his upload in advance before he releases the data to be visible for the customer. He can also see, am I correct? Have I done the right job? If not, he can go back and continue to work on it and upload it then again and double check before it is released to the decision makers. This is also one of the big advantages, where you right away get into the use case from a very focused perspective.
Wow. Cool.
May I add something, Deniz? So
Please.
basically everything is said principally, but I want to stress that, because Joachim, you asked for nothing to hide anymore, and a very transparent way to look at this. This is something that maybe some are scared of, but they realized very quickly, also from the supplier side, that what Deniz just explained, that they have the option to look at their results, get a definite, they can definitely say, am I drifting towards the cyan side, to the red side? Am I too light, too less, or less saturation, whatever? So before the brand even knows about those results, they can get back and develop, and then they can say, we are more quick, we don't have to wait, we can do the production planning more precisely, because if you get the feedback in real time, and even if it's possible to get an auto approval, so once you are working with a brand and the brand says you are a reliable supplier, we have been working for 10 years already, so we know you're doing a good job. So now you can see if you are right or wrong. So if you're right, and if you are in the ideal tolerance, just go ahead. You don't have to wait for our approval, just finish the goods and go on. So that is a huge advantage.
I was just wondering, while you were explaining this with this back and forth of informations and such, and connecting this to the devices before, that Deniz said, okay, there are some companies who have these devices already in their factories. Now, if I take a picture with my phone here, it certainly will look different to someone who, because this is an Apple, this is an iPhone, so someone uses a Huawei phone or Samsung or whatsoever, is making the same picture of the same object, and it will look different. How does this work? How can you have different sensors, let's say, different machines in different countries, creating a digital code that is actually the same?
Well, as said before, it's not about RGB. It's not about color that are depicted via a normal image that you take with a camera, something like that. It's really the reflections along the wavelengths of the color. Let's say the color rainbow, to make it more easy. It goes from lilac to blue, green, yellow, red. So at each step of the wavelengths, according to the color, the reflection of light is measured. So what comes out is not a picture, it's the DNA of the color. So that means it's the truth of color. There is no monitor, left, right, something else. It's really the data of the color. How has it been reflected? And those spectrophotometers, to understand this more precisely, I mean, the suppliers would know that from the very beginning, they use to get this DNA information, and then they put this in their dye-star formulation system. So this system will know how to handle those QTX files, so these spectral files. So then they take this measurement and start their dyeing formulation. And when they get the outcome and measured again, so they exactly know, oh, it has been a bit too much blue in there. So they can go back and develop further and improve the results. And that's not about guessing. It's about facts. It's objective, it's not subjective. And you can avoid also the subjectivity of a user, how he's looking at color. So everyone looks different. There's a observer metamerism. So you see the same color more greenish than I do, maybe. And maybe the next day under some other lights, or even if you have a light box, you will recognize that maybe the supplier and the brand, they are both right with their decision, but the bulb in the light box of the one is older than the other one. So also this will affect the evaluation process. And in ColordesQ, we are evaluating under a light that is the same for everyone that looks at the data.
So just to understand what you just say, and to put it a little bit aside. So basically what you say is, I'm a brand, or let's make this in black. So wrong color, sorry again.
Here we are with colors.
Yes. So we are a brand, and I have an object. And this object I put under the scanner. Right? This is like I have an idea about a blue t-shirt, and I define the blue, which turns into something like zeros and ones, which is the kind of formula that I can send no matter where in this world.
Yeah.
Right? So in the past, what I would do is I would send the physical object now to the manufacturer, and he would then start making a copy, trying to do something that looks kind of this blue t-shirt. And when he would say like, oh, now it looks great, then it goes back to the brand. The brand says, sorry, it's not as blue as I wanted. So have another copy, and then it gets another copy until someone here says, okay. Or to be honest, because I've seen this many times at my former employer, sometimes time's up, collection ending. Right. We have to put something into the showroom. It's not 100%, but anyway, let's figure this out during bulk production or whatever. Yeah. So that's also kind of truth. So now what you're saying is, and let's put this into another color. So now what you're saying is, you create this kind of digital twin of this object, say the blue t-shirt again. You send this information here to the manufacturer. They can build a copy. They can circle around themselves here until this copy is actually what is determined in your digital twin, and only then send it back to the brand and say, off we go. Right? Is that's correct? That's correct. And it's a lot easier now, also because if you are working, for example, we can use Pantone, CSI, or Coloro. Let's take Coloro. They have a color system, or any color system. So what the supplier will receive from the brand is, this is the number of the color we want you to develop on this particular material. So they will order a swatch from Coloro. In the same minute, they will get the QTX file from Coloro.
and they put it in the dye-star formulation, and they still want to have a small sample because the people at the machines, they need to have something in hands to have a quick check about what they are doing. But the basic one is the QTX file. So once the QTX file has been sent in a second to them, they can immediately start the development. So that's the point. And they are not developing the whole t-shirt, of course. They are developing only the material swatches, and then they just measure it. They put it into the system, like measuring with a spectrophotometer, and then they would upload, and then they would see in the next second, they would see on the screen how was the color outcome. And that's the beauty of the system. And it becomes more important if you think about different suppliers in different parts of the world. So what we all want to have, if we are going shopping and we have a coordinate, so let's go to a store and they have a story on the table. So the pants is matching to the t-shirt. The t-shirt has the same color, the main color is the same as the print of something else. So in the print, there is the same color. So everything comes from different parts of the world. So what they experience by now, they hope that everything is matching. But the people in the shop, they want to sell it, and they just unpack everything and they say, well, we are lucky, or we aren't. So that's what happens. And that's what the beauty of ColordesQ is all about. You are able to upload from any part of the world, put it all on one screen together, look at the values, seeing on the drift indicator, how far are they apart, or are they in the same quadrant of the drift indicator. So you really know before even producing something, that would be a match. And also what Deniz showed up with this merchandise, these kits and jerseys, you know, the fans are very fond of their team. And if they have the wrong color, they won't accept it.
No.
So if the cap is different from the jersey or the shorts, they won't accept it. And I know from people that they carry huge wagons there and put it in front of the brand and say, look at this shit. What happens? We cannot sell this anymore. And this is the beauty, because you have it all in real time on one screen.
Got it. So, and now to take this even further, what you say is, and that's the beauty of digitalization, let's say, is that if you are the brand, then no matter how many manufacturers you have, this digital copy of your color is always the same.
Yeah, that's the starting point for everyone.
That's the starting point, and that is something, is for me a perfect example of using the digital twin, which is something I always tell our clients, that when you are able to turn something physical, an asset, something that is physically available, and turn it into a digital information, that is the moment when you can work endlessly with this information,
right?
No matter what. So it is not determined by the amount of sample swatches that you have. You can literally give this information to like 100 manufacturers and let them develop something around this, because the color is digital. It's dematerialized.
Yes.
And therefore it is deployable, infinitely deployable. Let's say you can send it everywhere, and you can work with this information.
But maybe I have to add something more, which is very important. So you are right. The target color is a color information that is same for everyone. So they start from the same level to develop their materials. Of course, depending on the material, the color outcome will be slightly different always.
Yeah.
But, I can give you an example. We are working with a big company, and this big company, they start to develop lab dips with several suppliers for the same target color at the same time. So what they try to manage is, we have at least 10 different materials all in the same color. And then we later our designers can choose from those puzzle pieces. They can take 3 of this, they know they are matching. They can take 5, they know they are matching on. So then they build up their products and they have a safe basis to do this, to do so, and not being scared about will it match, will it doesn't match it at all. So this is something you can prepare the materials before going into the styling. So that's a big advantage.
Now, talking about a technology, because when Deniz was explaining this, I was just thinking about full cost. Are these sensors and these boxes and devices, they must be terribly expensive, or?
Yeah, they are not cheap, but you at least need only one. And you, as Deniz said before, they are already working with it. I mean, they need to identify a color. They don't guess and say, okay, let's have a look. I mean, if you have a company that are 2 people, maybe they don't have one. No. But every reliable supplier who is able to process in a sustainable way and do more than only a few items a week, they will have such an instrument. And it's a technology that has been there for 50, 60, 70 years already. So it's not something new. The new approach of ColordesQ is that everyone, and not only the experts, can work with that. So by now, if you have a big company, there are maybe 2 colorists, 2 people that are very familiar with all this stuff. And if you look at the kind of information they will receive, it's very confusing to the normal user. But if you are a product manager, I'm a product manager, and I've been working as a product manager and designer for more than 30 years already. So the biggest challenge for me was to please me, to please myself. So when we were creating this product, we were all definitely looking at the process, as Deniz already explained, so that it's very easy. To make it very simple, if you do the same what you have ever done before as a supplier, you will have your lab dips on the table, and only instead of putting this in an envelope and sending this around the world, you just have to measure with a device you already have in-house, and then just drag and drop to ColordesQ, and that's it.
Thinking a little bit down the road, like 5 years down the road, do you think that we will see a time where I can feed this ColordesQ with my phone? Or is it unrealistic?
I mean, the results, you can have the results maybe on the phone. You will not be able to scan everything. So we need this stable quality measurements, because this is, I mean, you can say shit in, shit out. So if you just take a picture, you cannot rely on it. So if you do it properly at the factory, and it only comes, I mean, if you are a CEO and you are on the road and you just want to have a look of how the process is now, if the analytics is, or are we in time, you can do it on your iPad as well.
No, I was asking about this because probably you know that that there is a big bet in autonomous driving with regards to LiDAR. You know, like Waymo is very much betting on LiDAR systems, whereas Elon Musk says, like Tesla says, no, we don't need this. We have cameras and radar, and that's enough. And both of each parties say the others are going to fail.
Okay.
So that was my question. Like the technology is sometimes going very strange ways, you know, like you just explained. Okay, the technology of understanding color in wavelight is old. Making interpretations, turning it into a value is done by a software company, which was not possible like 50 years ago. So you turn an insight that's quite old into a new perspective, and all of a sudden it makes sense in a different way. That's why I was asking, like, is there a thing? Is it thinkable to even make interpretations on photos or something like that?
Yeah, basically it's all about the quality of measurements.
Yeah.
So this is the starting point for everything. So what Deniz also mentioned is, so we have media companies, or a big one, which we are cooperating with. And this media company works with literally all the distance retailers in a certain region. So what the challenges for them is, as you know, you have been doing this for decades already. So if they are waiting for the sample, that should be the one that has to be published in a catalog, on the website, whatever, they need to adjust the colors accordingly at the latest point of time. So now what they are getting from our side is, at the time the lab dip or the bulk production is produced, they will receive the QTX file from this measurement. And then they put it in their software like Photoshop or whatever, and they adjust the color weeks before the goods will arrive. So that is a tremendous benefit. And also for salesman samples, you can use this outcome of the color, because you know that's how the garments will look like. And you take this information, put it on the picture, and then you can handle everything. And the final consumer or even the retailer will not be disappointed, because he will get what he sees now.
Mm-hmm. So right now, what you say is basically like it's an improvement in quality, it's an improvement in cost, and it's an improvement in time.
Yes, and it's an improvement in certainty, about what we are doing. Yes. So now you know that. I mean, the brand is asking for a particular material in a particular color. So you have one cycle, you have two cycles, you have three cycles. Now your procurement manager tells you as a designer, make your decision. Otherwise, we won't get the stuff in time. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you look back and say, okay, let's take the first one. It was still the best. So you lost weeks, and then it's still not what you're expecting.
Yeah.
So now, or the other situation, you force your supplier to submit anything, and they said you didn't, you haven't confirmed this, and you as a brand say, oh, we don't have any time. You just can't do it. Now the goods are arriving, and the brand says, well, this shit I would never have approved. So now you have a claim. And this transparent and common and jointly made decisions. This is what ColordesQ is all about. You as a supplier look at the screen, you as a brand look at the same results, and you communicate and you see, okay, we agree, we will go for it, and no claims at all. And that's the most important part also for the suppliers.
Yeah, that's why this session today is called Color Me Safe. Because with,
yeah, you're right.
with this information that when I can digitize something, then I can make it unmisunderstandable. You know, it's something that is so clear and so defined. So there's no way that I can say, okay, this is not like, this is a one and this is not a one. And that's an interesting thing with regard to digital expression of a physical being. I have another question for you. And I don't know if I find this picture fast. But there is just recently, let me just find it in a second. Here we are.
Yeah,
here we are. So Moncler just recently started designs for Fortnite. So as traditional brands, like Moncler is a very successful luxury brand, start to develop collections that are only available digital for now, which means like I'm a gamer in Fortnite, and I want to, maybe I'm an adult, so I buy Moncler stuff frequently, and now I want to be dressed with my top brand that I like so much, even in my video games. Now my question is, in video games, everything is possible. Not even gravity is an issue. So I can design as a designer in 3D. Like when I'm working, when talking to designers on the Fabricant, the platform, they can design whatever they like. In 3D,
Yes.
you can do whatever against gravity, against metrics, whatsoever. What if these designers one day will say it's vice versa? We design for 3D games, and then the gamers would say, you know what the skin that I use in my video game, I want to also wear in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a direct connection? Because you just explained to me that a picture is not color, you know. So
yeah.
How do I make sure that when I develop something like that, that this color here later turns into something that you defined, or is there a connection between a picture color and a physical color that later I can produce a product that looks actually like that?
I mean, may I can take this? This is when we talk about media agencies. This is exactly the challenge to build the bridge between physical and online and printed media. Why it is not, should it not be possible to turn it around? That means creating it first for a game, for the gaming industry, and then bringing it back to physical.
Exactly.
I think in times of where influencers are becoming the brands of the future, why shouldn't a game become a kind of influencer, giving inspiration and ideas to the gamers, so to the people which are playing with this? So I have the example here in my house with my kids. Yeah, sure. So there is a lot of inspiration coming from there, also to buy skin for a digital figure, for a digital avatar. I thought, why you are spending your money for this kind of things? Exactly. And I said, if you would tell me you would like to wear the garment that your gamer having on Fortnite, then I would say, okay, that makes sense. But the step now from digital into physical is not far. And I think this is where we will move into also for the future.
Which says that this color in the video game skin, I can later turn into something on ColordesQ and saying, okay, in their world, RGB, this is this color. In your world, which is wavelength and whatever, this is this color, right? Do I understand it? So it's understanding each other.
Yes, but I mean, I would see it from the practical way, because I'm a designer, I'm a product manager. I was responsible to achieve those things.
Yeah.
So I would assume that if this has been created, so someone would go back to what is physically possible, because you have some colors that are on a monitor and that are not achievable maybe in a certain substrate and a certain material. But if I would have to do it, I would take my inspiration and go back to my color system and say, this is exactly the aqua color, and this is the lilac for this. And then we again have a physical sample, a QTX file referring to that, and you have to transform it then into reality, let's say. Mm-hmm. So I mean, but there are many ways. Also, what Deniz said, maybe it's about getting QTX files into Photoshop and then again somehow back. But there is a way, and I think the approach, the idea is very good, because the people are more and more turning into this world of, I mean, this is a kind of second world for them, and they are spending more time actually when they are sitting at home. So I think that's a huge business case.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, we are coming to an end faster than expected. But what I learned today is that whenever you turn something physical and emotionally described into something digital and very clearly described, you gain time, you save time, you save money, you create transparency, and you create somehow a kind of safety with regard to interpretation-less information. you know that yellow is yellow as you wanted to have it. And especially when quality management, you avoid claims, you avoid misinterpretations, and getting shipment that, receiving shipment that you actually wanted. So there's a lot of advantage coming with this new old technology in a new way of interpretation, right?
It is.
Yeah, that was a very interesting discussion that we had on that topic. So again, thank you very much for being with us. I know it was a little bit cumbersome. That's why we have not so many live visitors today, but we have a lot of registered. We had more than 400 registered people for the first attempt that didn't make it. And certainly this episode will be available on YouTube, and we will send the link to everyone who has registered to have later the opportunity to watch it.
Great.
I'm again, thank you very much, Deniz and Markus, for being here with us and for explaining how we turn something physical into digital and further digitizing our apparel industry, which definitely needs it, desperately needs it. We need to catch up.
That's true.
Our industry with other industries in this matter. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
I hope that things get better globally, and that in the next month we have another session and a lot of problems have hopefully been solved. And with these wishes for all the ones who are suffering right now, thank you very much for listening, and see you next time.
Thanks, Joachim, for having us.
Bye.
All the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.